Well, hello, all of my fellow Bellatorians. It's good to see you again, enjoying these Monday nights so much. Hopefully, you're getting as much out of this as I am. I truly love this industry so much. I'm focusing more and more. I'm back to really focusing on my core. If you follow me on social at all, everything I'm doing right now is about our amazing industry. You know what I mean? There's so many other people doing so many other things. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being an Uber driver, and there's nothing wrong with whatever you might be doing in the quote unquote gig economy. But I look at what we do, and not only does it give you the ability to create a residual income, to make 1% off the efforts of 100 people, like J. Paul Getty talked about, it gives you time freedom. I love this industry. And for anyone who really excels in this industry, the best part about it is you as an individual have to grow. You know, it's about your growth. It's about your development. If you ever read Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which for those of you who are going to be coming to our Journey program in April, which I hope is all of you, gosh, guys, if you haven't registered for that yet, that is the best money. The price that we're doing that is significantly lower than I've done this program in quite some time. I've been doing it for over 25 years, and it yields amazing results. And one of the things we will talk about is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And one of the things that makes a human being fulfilled, not just temporary happiness, but fulfilled, really enjoying your life, is growing and developing and getting better. And that's what I'm saying is so incredible about this industry, is in order for you to get to where you want to get to. And we're going to also, by the way, one of the main things we do at Journey, we do this incredible week of starting off. Let me just quickly give you a little mini commercial here. The beginning of this is dumping a lot of garbage, kind of deleting a room. Think of your brain as a hard drive, and think of a lot of clutter and junk and garbage there that we're going to delete a bunch of negative stuff, negative experiences, frustration, disappointment, embarrassment. We're going to delete. Then on days 2 and 3 and 4, we fill you up with the most amazing stuff. You're going to feel like, if any of you like to go and party it up and you love to get that buzz going on, well, that buzz, unfortunately, alcohol is a tricky thing, and so are drugs, because they're stimulants and then they become a depressant. This is just straight stimulant. For 3 days straight, we're just going to build you up and make you look at yourself in a way you've never looked at yourself before. Really develop some incredible characteristics you have. We're going to teach you all kinds of skill sets. You're going to discover things about yourself you never knew. Then the very last thing we do at the end of the event for about 5 hours, is we do a goal setting session. But it's far more, I hate to even call it that, because so many of you guys have done goal setting, and during the goal setting, it doesn't matter if you set a goal. I mean, it matters. Most people don't have a goal, so setting a goal is good. But achieving a goal is much different than setting a goal. So we focus on goal achievement. I know you're going to love the way we do all this stuff. So that's what everything ends with. And oh my gosh, you walk out of there, and we've not only set goals, we've actually programmed it in your subconscious mind, which is 10 times more power than your conscious mind. That's a big reason why a lot of people who set a goal don't reach it, because your conscious mind is where your willpower is. But if you have bad habits and you want to change your habits to do something bigger and better than you've ever done before, of course, well, the bottom line is your conscious mind is a weakling compared to your subconscious mind. So we're going to take these goals that you have, and we're going to put them into your unconscious mind so they work for you 24 hours a day. We're going to use the law of attraction to make it all happen. I'm telling you, just for that process, at the price we're doing the event, Breakthrough, Journey, it's Journey, but you have so many breakthroughs at it. Sometimes I refer to it as breakthrough. But this program is just going to blow your mind. So anyway, I really hope you're going to take advantage of that, because I know a lot of you guys set goals in the beginning of the year. So if this year you set your goals and you're not coming down a home stretch and you're not about to cross the finish line, then make sure you get the journey. So next year, at this time of year, you are definitely coming down the home stretch. You're going to reach those objectives if you haven't already reached them by this time of year. You know what I mean? And for most people, it's going to come at a perfect time. April, is still very early in the year. It's the springtime of the year. And I'm telling you, man, you will never be the same once you come out of the event. Okay, commercial over. It doesn't take too long. But it's really important. It's not just important for you to go. It's important for your people to go. Listen, guys, every organization in the world, the real estate firm, insurance organization, sporting teams, churches, everything, schools, they rise and fall on leadership. So who are the leaders on your team? And what's wild is you don't have to have someone with a lot of experience, or you just have to have someone who takes the posture and does the behaviors of a leader. So who are the people on your team with the most potential? You've got to get them to this event. You just have to, because in order for you to get up this comp plan, or any network mark comp plan for this, but it's definitely this one, you have to develop other leaders. That's the way the comp plan is built. You have to have people underneath you hitting rank. And the best way to hit rank is to be a great leader. So we're going to teach you. This is like a leadership development factory. So anyway, that is advanced. That is extreme. So let me do the yin and the yang right now. If that's advanced and extreme, tonight I want to go as far back to basics as we possibly can. So I've been working with the company for a while now, and the very first training I always do, we're going to cycle some of our good stuff, because I know the people that were here 6-8 months ago, a lot of them missed this, or a lot of them aren't even here anymore. So I'm going to take the messages I know are most relevant, and we're going to recycle them from time to time. So tonight, I'm going to talk about the very first thing my teacher and mentor taught me. I'm talking the first thing at the first seminar. And, whenever I'm working with an organization, as I am with Bellator, it's always the first thing I introduce and teach to people. But usually I do it, if you've heard me do this, I do it quickly and in a passing way so you get the general idea. But tonight, like he did it that first time I heard it, I'm going to take a deep dive on it so you really understand these things. And again, this to me falls in the category of what we call universal success principles, meaning it works in any and every area of your life. So whatever you want to be successful at, if you want to learn how to speak a language, a different language, if you want to become a great pickleball player, a great golfer, if you want to become successful in business, if you want to get physically fit, if you just follow these 3 rules, then you'll be able to achieve anything. I mean, they are so basic, they're so simple, but man, are they powerful. So 3 basic rules to achieve anything you want. Number 1, pay attention. Number 2, get excited. Number 3, never quit. Pay attention, get excited, never quit. Now, I know you're taking in that information. Even if it's the first time you ever heard it, you're like, all right, well, pay attention, great. You understand what I just said. So it doesn't sound, I know in the beginning it didn't sound that magical to me. But let me explain to you why it really, really, really is magical. So pay attention. Let's talk about pay attention. How many people, honest to God, have a hard time paying attention, especially with this little beauty right here? They're talking to, I just read something that says the average person looks at their phone at less than 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, they're looking at their phone. We just have this addiction to these dopamine hits that we get from social media apps. We want to look at our weather app. We want to go to YouTube. We want to go to, the internet, Safari, whatever browser you use. We want to go to our emails. We want to check our text. We want to go to WhatsApp. There's so many different things that you can check. So much information, so much stimulation, so many things that are on there. Games are on there, all kinds of stuff on it. So paying attention has always been difficult. Now, I'm sure you know that no matter what career you're in, if you're an athlete, if you're a great, successful business, whatever you are, you're going to hear people say you have to be focused. You have to have focus. Well, the opposite of focus is not non-attention, like you're not paying attention. So pay attention is something we're teaching you, and we wouldn't teach it to you if people weren't paying attention. I kind of stammered on my words there, but I think you get what I'm trying to say now. People aren't paying attention. They're not. They're distracted. And you know, I know a lot of people, let me tell you another thing about paying attention. Multitasking. I love people. And again, I'm going to say, I don't want anyone to get upset with me, but I know a lot of ladies, including my wife, women pride themselves on being great at multitasking. You know what I mean? They can be doing the laundry and doing something else. I understand that. And I love and respect my wife, and all moms. I have so much admiration for moms that are running the household and doing a lot of that home stuff while they're doing business stuff, and they're doing 2 or 3 things at one time. On a business perspective, let me be very, very clear. And I actually had a scientist. I was at a seminar, very high-end seminar. Everyone in the room was a world-class speaker, author, trainer. I mean, literally some of the biggest people to ever be in that field. And there was a scientist they brought in to talk to all of us, and they talked about multitasking, and they actually did a multitasking test. They made us do something at the same time. We're doing a test, and they made us do something at the same time. Unbelievable. And when I tell you this was not a difficult test, but we had to do it multitasking, then the next day we came back and we took it straight up with clear focus. And I mean, what a difference. I mean, and I can't remember if we took it first with the focus or then we multitasked. I don't remember. All I remember was the grades dropped dramatically when people were multitasking. Multitasking, again, is the opposite of focus. It's not paying attention. It's paying attention to multiple things at one time. You know what I mean? So think about it. If you're hanging out with your child, do they want you to be paying attention to other things, or do they want your full attention? If you're hanging out with your spouse, do you want them to be doing all kinds of other things, or you want them to pay a focused attention to you? So pay attention is not as easy as it sounds. Like it really requires a lot of work. I'll just tell you, a lot of you need to go to this phone and turn off virtually every notification you have. It's tough enough to not get distracted without your phone telling you how many people liked your Facebook post. You know what I mean? It's like, it blows my mind how many things people get distracted with that are unnecessary distractions. Now, that's one part of it. But let's talk about the other part of paying attention. Who are you paying attention to? That's more important. Who is your teacher? Who is your coach? Who is your guide? When I first got in the network marketing industry, I was brought in by a gentleman named Gary. Now, listen to me. I'm one of those guys who I believe you never talk badly about your sponsor. Even if your sponsor is terrible, if you're new, sponsor is just the person who enrolled you into the company. They brought you into Bellator. Now, if they did nothing else, they brought you in the company. And it's kind of like a parent, you know what I mean? It's like, you may not be overly impressed. Now that you're an adult, you may look at your adult parent and maybe you're not overly impressed. But the bottom line is, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be alive. You know what I mean? So you don't need to continue to learn from them if you feel like they're unworthy. It's the same thing with the sponsor. My sponsor was off track. Now, in the beginning, and this is very important to understand, in the beginning, and that's why they brought me in, by the way, in the beginning, you don't know if your sponsor knows what they're doing. If you're a 3-year-old, how do you know if your adult parent knows what they're doing? You look at them like, first of all, they're really tall. Secondly, they have money. Third thing, they can cook, they can drive a car, they can do they have a phone, they have all the stuff you don't have. So from a little child's perspective, all adults are geniuses. But again, when we get a little bit older and we start really understanding what's going on, a lot of times we can look and go, oh, my parent was not a great parent. Well, you may eventually feel that way about your sponsor. I mean, I can just tell you without being mean about it, my buddy who brought me into the business was not a good sponsor. He was doing a lot of things wrong. Now, the problem I'm trying to get to is I was paying attention to him. So I was doing what he told me to do, and I was working really hard. but I was doing a lot of the wrong things and I didn't know it. So this is as real as it gets. Me, Mark, right? Your trainer guy, the guy who's trained all over the world and made boatloads of money myself, trained people how to make boatloads of money. The bottom line is I was about to quit the business. A little less than a year in, I was so frustrated because I was paying attention to the wrong person. Then I was pushed to go to a seminar, okay? So when we're doing these one-day events, the one-day events that we have coming up, we're going to be announcing here if we haven't already announced them. We're going to be January and February. We're going to do more of the momentum events. I know the people who went to the momentum events when we did them in the fall absolutely love them. Sales have skyrocketed since we did those. So for sure, you want to make sure you are filling those people. And I know a lot of people, you didn't know what to expect, but now you know what to expect. I'll be at all those events. Ray will be there again. Jurgen will be there. There's even a possibility, and Micah might be able to get to at least one of them. So there's a lot going on. So I went to an event like that, and it completely changed the direction of my life. I met a guy like I am now there. I met a man who became my mentor, and I met a man who taught me these 3 basic rules that I'm teaching you right now. And it was everything. It was 100% everything. So then I only paid attention to him. I stopped paying attention to my old sponsor. See, we don't know what we don't know. So at that point, I was sitting there almost a year in the business. I didn't know my sponsor didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know. When I went and saw the man who I now call my mentor, who at the time was just a guy doing a training, I had no relationship with him whatsoever. But that was crystal clear that the guy knew what he was doing. So I started paying attention to him. Now, here's another funny thing. When I started paying attention to this guy, who, by the way, was making a 6-figure monthly income 37 years ago, strictly from network marketing. And the gentleman who was teaching me was, making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Not terrible, but nothing like this guy. And he didn't like the fact that I was paying attention to him and not paying attention to him. So here's my point. If you pay attention to the wrong person, you're screwed. Okay, if I'm in a car and I'm driving at nighttime and I have no idea where I'm going and I'm just following the taillights in front of me, and all of a sudden those taillights disappear because the car drove off a cliff. I don't know that. I keep driving. Where am I going? I'm going off a cliff too. So who are you following? I learned a long time ago, you want to be a great leader, you should be a great follower first. Pick the right person to follow, okay? Everything rises and falls on leadership. So pay attention. Now, when my mentor told me to do something, I did it. It's another thing. Part of this pay attention is how teachable are you? Do you come in, you're like, no, I already know everything. It's just like our older son right now. Say this a little. I don't want him to hear me. But he's about 15, 14. This started at like 13, 14. Everything you start to tell him, he already knows. He goes, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. And as a parent, you're going, you definitely don't know. We've never taught you this before. I know you've never. Yeah, I know. So you can't have that attitude in our business. It's deadly. You've got to be teachable. You have to be willing to learn. Now, again, I'll give you an example of exactly what I'm saying. Let's just say Gordon Ramsay, the phenomenal chef from Great Britain. You probably know him because he yells at people all the time if they don't cook what they're supposed to the right way. But Gordon Ramsay, I've eaten in his restaurants many times. There's a couple here in Las Vegas. I believe there's one in New York, but he's from London. And I've eaten in his London restaurants numerous times. And he's very, very famous for his beef, what's in the puff pastry? I'm drawing a blank. Beef Wellington. So he's very famous. That's one of his signature dishes, beef Wellington. So if he were to come along and teach you exactly how to cook beef Wellington, first of all, if you want to cook beef Wellington, does it make sense to find someone who's exceptional at teaching it? Again, I don't need to make this overly simplistic, but how many of you, and this again, I'm going to beat the death out of all 3 of these things tonight. Are you paying attention to someone who doesn't know how to cook, who's teaching you how to do beef Wellington? Or are you paying attention to someone can cook other things, but they've never cooked beef Wellington? You know, that reminds me, you have people who are in car sales or they're in insurance sales or real estate sales. They've never done network marketing, and they're the one teaching you how to do this. Woo! That's a really bad idea. If someone's a great soccer player, that doesn't mean they're going to be a great boxer. I mean, they're both sports, but one is nothing like the other one. So a lot of times, people don't pay attention to the right people. If you find Gordon Ramsay's an expert at beef Wellington and he shows you exactly how to cook it, here's the hilarious part. He shows you exactly how to cook it. And part of beef Wellington, if you don't know it, is you use something called foie gras, which is like a duck liver. And people are like, oh, I don't want to use that. So you're going to not use one of the main ingredients that it takes to make beef Wellington. You're going to put something else in, or you're just going to leave that out. And that's the way you are doing the business. You know what I mean? We teach you there's 4 steps of doing this and you do 3 of them. So when my mentor told me to do something, again, if I was in a car, I didn't put on my blinker. I didn't look in the rear view mirror. I just turned right. If he said turn right, I just turned right. I just did what he told me to do. I didn't need, and people are like, why? Why should it? Why? You know who usually says why? 3 to 5 year old kids. I don't need to know why. If I'm fortunate enough to have a good teacher, how do you know if you have a good teacher? In the Bible, by their fruits, you shall know them. So if someone has good fruits, if they're at a high rank in a company, if they're doing extremely well, someone like Ed Terranovo has tremendous experience. I can name a bunch of other leaders in the field who have tremendous experience. Then yes, you want to pay attention to them because they have a track record. They have absolutely proven that they know what they're doing, especially the ones who are also doing extraordinarily well right here in Bellator. So find someone who's doing well and pay attention. The ultimate is if you can't pay attention, come here on Monday nights and pay attention to me. Most things in the world, you don't want me to be your coach. I'm an okay cook, but you don't want me to teach you that. I'm an okay guitar player, but you don't want me to give you guitar lessons. I'm an okay golfer. You definitely don't want me giving you golf lessons. Network marketing, I'm just telling you, there's not too many people on the planet alive today who can do this business, know this business, and can teach this business the way that I can. It's just the truth. So come here on Mondays. How much does it cost you to be here on Mondays? My understanding is it costs nothing. So you pay nothing and you get me as your coach. And then for a little bit of money, you can come to the momentum events, which are way more impactful. Don't think because you're plugging in on Monday nights, you can skip the momentums. That is a huge mistake. Live events are the things that absolutely move the needle more than anything else. And then as good as the momentums are, and they are really, 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 really good, they are nowhere near as good as what we're doing at Journey. Journey is life altering, like 180 degree turnaround. Change your life, not just business wise. We'll talk about spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, like every element that matters in a human life. We're going to talk about it because there's no point in at the highest rank in a company and being a multimillionaire and have the worst health in the world or have no one in your life that you love or loves you because you've been so focused on getting rich and you didn't care about anything else. So we're going to teach you so many amazing things. And, you know, this is the kind of event also you bring family members to. For sure, bring your spouse. They don't need to be in Bellator, but you do want to be equally yoked. If you learn all this stuff, and I'm telling you, they're universal success principles. So they will make you a better spouse. They will make you a better parent and on. But you don't want to go by yourself if at all humanly possible. I don't want you to force your spouse to go. But if your spouse can go with you, oh my gosh, your marriage will be better. Your parenting will be better. Getting this, doing goals together. What an amazing, amazing experience. So anyway, I know I'm back on Journey. I can't help myself. But again, in order of importance, online training, number 1, for free. Inexpensive one-day trainings are secondly better than that. But these extended trainings, multiple day trainings that cost more money for sure, Those are the ones that move the needle in a way you can't even believe. And our goal is to make sure, if you look at that one right there, it's called The View from the Edge. That's a notebook. You can see I'm dressed up in that one as George Washington. We do 15 or 20 short plays, like Broadway style plays, and we teach and train you through entertainment. That's what's coming the second half of next year. And that one, between Journey and that one, you can't believe how your life can just dramatically change in just 1 year. Okay, first rule, pay attention. I think we covered pay attention. Pay attention, right person. Don't be distracted. Don't pay attention, wrong person. Be teachable. Do what you're told to do. Number 2, get excited. Some of you guys, wow. I mean, your lack of excitement is so underwhelming. It's almost like your energy is like you're at a funeral. Or you're meditating or something. Like your energy is so incredibly low. Your enthusiasm, the tone of your voice, the way you say that. Have you ever heard it's not what you say, it's how you say it? I don't know if you know this, but only 7% of your communication are the actual words you say to each other. I believe it was UCLA did this test. 93% of communication are not the words. So it's the inflection, it's the eye contact, it's the posture, it's the intensity, all of that stuff. It's the enthusiasm. So you've got to be excited. You know, I see people, they're on the phone going, we're doing a business presentation on. I'm like, why are you whispering? Are you doing some kind of a drug deal? Why are you not going, hey, we have a amazing business presentation? You do I know. You know why? You know why you're not doing it? Because you're afraid people might think you're weird. I have news for you. They already think you're weird. Okay? You don't want people to talk shit behind your back. They're already talking shit behind your back. I have had so many people make fun of me. Oh, you're doing one-dose water. In the very beginning, I sold a water filtration product. They're like, we go out and have a couple beers. Oh, Mark doesn't want a beer. He wants bottled water. Here comes Gunga Din. You remember him? He was the guy carried around the water in movies. Like any water joke they could pop. They ridiculed me, mocked me. Here comes Pyramid Guy. The whole deal. It's like, you know what? I haven't heard any of those jokes in a long, long time. I've had some of those people try to borrow money from me. I've had some of those people try to get me to hire them for my companies. But yeah, they don't make too much fun of me anymore. Or if they do, they sure as shit don't do it to my face. So you have got to. There's a book. I've never read the book, but the title, I'm just based on the title, I'm going to tell you to go get the book. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. An F, like an F-U. You know what I'm saying? The Subtle Art of Not Caring. You have got to stop caring what other people are thinking. Listen, you're going to go show this to people. Some people, when you're done, are going to turn around behind your back and say you're scamming people. They're going to say you're crazy, you're in a pyramid deal, you lost your mind, you've been brainwashed. God only knows the stuff they're going to say. So you can't let that affect you. You show everybody. Some will, some won't, so what? Zig Ziglar said, success is going from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. He was a sales giant. Going from one no to another no with no loss of enthusiasm. So again, it's not enough to be excited on your first presentation of the day, or your first presentation of the week, or your first presentation of your career, and then as 2 or 3 people say no, now all of a sudden you've got that terrible energy again. I got done telling you, when we do the training we're doing in Phoenix, we're going to talk about the law of attraction. And when you have bad energy, if you don't understand the law of attraction really quickly, everything in the world is made up of energy. Energy. It either vibrates high or low. So this phone is made up of a certain vibration. The wood behind me has a certain vibration. A table has a car has a certain vibration. A tree has a certain, everything has a vibration. Most everything in the universe vibrates the same all the time. 100% of the time it vibrates the same. Humans have a vibration. Our vibration goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Our energy goes up, down, up, down, up, down, based on our thoughts and based on our emotions. If you read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which you should definitely read, Dale Carnegie says, when dealing with human beings, you are not dealing with creatures of logic. You are dealing with creatures of emotion. So we're very emotional beings, right? So when your emotions are down, that drags your vibration down. That drives your energy down. Now, most of you haven't been aware of this at all. You didn't know what the law, and by the way, it's the law of attraction. It's not the theory of attraction. It's the theory of evolution, right? It's not the law of evolution, it's the theory. But there is a law of gravity. If you don't believe in the law of gravity, take a step off the top of your roof tonight and you'll find out it works, whether you believe in it or not. So the law of attraction is the law of attraction. It works whether you understand it or not, whether you believe it or not. So if your energy is low, you're going to attract people and situations into your life that are vibrating at the same energy level. But if your energy level is high, if your thoughts are high, if your emotions are high, if you're thinking good thoughts. So for example, again, to be more clear, if you're excited, if you're motivated, if you have gratitude, if you have enthusiasm, those all make you vibrate very, very high. If you're optimistic, if you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're jealous, if you're envious, if you're angry, those all make you vibrate low. So you have control, but most of us are unaware of all this. And we're just like literally getting yanked all over the place. Like the situation of the person we come in contact with, it's like they push our buttons and they make us happy or sad or angry or depressed or excited or whatever. When you take control, and this is the kind of stuff we talk about at Journey in detail. A lot of you are not controlling your thoughts and emotions. Either you control your thoughts and emotions, or your thoughts and emotions will control you. And if your thoughts and emotions are controlling you, then you're never going to have any sustained level of success in your life whatsoever. It's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down. You're going to be a roller coaster ride the rest of your life, and you don't want that. So what we have to be aware of is we want to have high energy on a regular basis. High energy. You have to be intentional about having high energy. So when I talk to normal people, they're not negative, they're not low energy, and they're not positive, they're not high energy. Most people, if you think about a car, they're in neutral. So if your car is in neutral, how far do you go? You don't go forward, you don't go back. So people wake up in the morning and they're neutral. They're not excited, they're not excited, okay? Are there some negative people, just straight negative? They wake up and they're going backwards. Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying the normal, the average. And are there some people that wake up and they're excited or they choose excitement? Yes, that's where I'm trying to get you to. But most people, like probably 60% of all the people in the world, 70% of all the people in the world wake up and they're in neutral. So if it's raining outside, their energy is down, they're a little sad, they're a little, unhappy. If it's a beautiful sunny day, now their energy is up. So again, they're neutral, they're affected by their environment. If they wake up in the morning and they're running late and they're going to be in traffic and they're going to be yelled at by the boss, then they're sad, they're depressed, they're frustrated, they're unhappy. But if they are on time and if there's no traffic, then they're energetic. If they wake up and their significant other is complimentary to them and tells them how much they love them and can't wait to see them, blah, 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 again, they're excited. If they wake up and start complaining and telling you what you're doing wrong, and now we're sad and we're depressed. So we don't choose our situation. Our situation influences us. That is not how a leader is. A leader chooses to be up all the time. A leader chooses to vibrate all the time. All the time. Now, we're human, so there's going to be a moment or two we vibrate a little lower. Okay, I'm not saying you have to be a machine or a robot. I'm just saying, in general, if you understand, there's so much power in being excited because it raises your vibration. One of my favorite expressions, I have so many expressions you'll hear me say that I learned through this industry, a bunch of them. I may have already used a bunch of them tonight, but the one I love the most is the more money you make, the more money you make. I love that one because, man, is it true. The more money you make, the more money you make. Nowadays, I get people hit me up in my inbox all the time. I don't even have to reach out to them. They reach out to me. They go to my social media. They see the success I'm having. They know my reputation. They've seen me in the past. I've had 3 or 4 people look to hire me for speaking gigs for their company just in the last week or so. They're coming to me because the more money you make, the more money you make. And believe me, I think you can tell right now, I'm vibrating at a pretty high level. My energy level is pretty good. Turning 65 here very, very, very soon. I am as energetic and dynamic as a lot of 20-year-olds. As a matter of fact, I'm more energetic and more enthusiastic than a lot of 20-year-olds on the planet today. And it's not by mistake. It's not something comes naturally. It's a learned behavior. Because pay attention, get excited. And here's the thing I'll tell you. If you're not excited about what we're doing, why should anyone else be excited? Why should people buy our product? Why should they sign up in our company? Why should they go to the event? See, when we're doing these events we're doing, it's not the event, it's your attitude about the event. It's not the event, it's your enthusiasm about the event. So if you're like, yeah, there's a training, if you want to go, that'd be cool. That's not excitement. That's not enthusiasm. P.T. Barnum said the circus was the greatest show on earth. I wish I could do this and conjure up P.T. Barnum. He'd be right in front of you and he could be talking about that circus. And I mean, in that circus, you had people swallowing swords and doing high wire acts. You had bearded women. It wasn't like it was all Olympic athletes doing amazing things. And he said it was the greatest show on earth. You want to talk probably one of the greatest salespeople to ever walk the earth. What are you saying about Bellator? Are you saying, yeah, if you take a look, if you can. You gotta be excited, man, because again, what you're not understanding, what people are buying is your enthusiasm or your lack of it. So if people are saying no, they're not really saying no to the company or to the product offering. Most of the time they're saying no to you. And what they're really saying no to is your lack of enthusiasm. A lack of enthusiasm shows a lack of belief. So pay attention, get excited. Last one, never quit. Now, never, as in ever. Now, pay attention, get excited, never quit unless your upline upsets you. Pay attention, get excited, never quit unless the company makes a change that you don't love. Pay attention, get excited, never quit unless someone said they would do something for you and they don't follow through. Pay attention, get excited, never quit unless the person you want to train isn't training at the event. People have a million ridiculous reasons. Pay attention, get excited, never quit unless your cousin tells you these things don't work. Pay attention, get excited, never quit. It makes me want to ask people, do you understand the word never, as in ever? Now, why do we have to teach you to never quit? 50% of all the people in the world who get married get divorced. I got divorced. It's ugly. It cost me a lot of money. It costs most people a lot of money. Okay, how much money does it cost when someone quits Bellator? What does it cost to be a rep? Next to nothing. So when they quit, it's not like they have a lot staked here. Okay. Now, some people, they get a bunch of nodes and they do have more skin in the game. And I understand that. But I'm talking about Norton. If you look at the average person network marketing, they have very little skin in the game. They've just done a little bit to become a rep. They got registered and that's really it. So it's easy to quit. People quit marriages 1 out of 2, and it's not easy to quit. There's children involved. There's property. There's all these entanglements. How about college? More than 50% of people go to a university in the United States and don't graduate. And let me tell you something. I sent 2 kids to college. It ain't cheap. It is not cheap. And none of the schools, I checked into this, have a cheerful refund program. Sorry you came here for 2 years and you didn't like it. Here's your money back. Doesn't work that way. So you want to talk about risky? You got to be kidding me. So again, pay attention, get excited, never quit, because people quit university educations. People quit marriages. People quit a lot of stuff. There's 4 stages of learning. The first one is you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know, you don't know. I'm in a car. I'm a little kid. I don't know how the car works. I'm unconsciously incompetent. 16 years old. I get behind the wheel. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to death. I'm almost hitting curbs, crashing into things. Now, stage 2, I'm consciously incompetent. Okay, there's 4 stages of learning. Consciously incompetent is where almost everyone quits everything. You get involved in network marketing, you see, oh my gosh, so-and-so is doing so great. I want to be like them. You start running, you talk to some people, they say no. Some people say yes, then they decide not to do the business anymore, whatever. So again, you get your dose of reality. And while you're consciously incompetent, when you're really not even that good at doing any of the skills that you're supposed to be doing, then you give up. Imagine, see, I love giving an example of driving a car because very few people are going to go, you know what, I just don't think I'll ever be able to drive a car. Why do so many people do that in network marketing? If you just said to yourself, you know what, I have to drive a car. I won't be able to get anywhere if I don't drive a car. So I'm going to drive a car. Then you would keep going when you're in consciously incompetent mode, and you would keep going, even though it was painful, even though you didn't like it, and you get to the third stage, which is consciously competent. Remember driving a car, but like you drive 45 minutes at the end, you were exhausted. You just had to go hands at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, check my mirrors. You could do it, but it was a lot of energy. And if you fight through stage 2 to stage 3, that's a major win. And all you have to do is keep going through stage 3, and you eventually get to stage 4, which is where you want to get to, where you're unconsciously competent. How many of you can drive a car right now without, you're on your phone, you're drinking a coffee, you're driving with your knee, you know what I mean? It's like most people driving a car, they don't even remember getting there. So are you going to become unconsciously competent at inviting prospects? Are you going to become unconsciously competent at doing presentations? Are you going to be unconsciously competent in general at doing our business? And it takes time. It takes repetitions. You need to do it again and again and again. No one goes to become a pro tennis player and hits 10 balls and goes, okay, I'm ready. It's repetition after repetition after repetition, training, repetition, adjustment, training, repetition. You have to go through the consciously incompetent stage, and no one wants to go through that. So if you're in that stage, know that you're in that stage, and this is when everyone quits who does quit. So just don't quit. You know, if you talk to guys who went through Navy SEAL school, they say, just don't quit. In your mind, if you can't take any more, say, I'm going to quit tomorrow. Because never make a permanent decision in a temporary mindset. So when you think about trying to be a Navy SEAL, I mean, they are deliberately trying to break you. And you're at a point where you're broken. You go, okay, I can't take any more. I quit tomorrow. I'm not going to quit right now. Because when the emotion goes up, IQ goes down. But when the emotion goes back down, the IQ goes back up, and you go, I'm not going to quit. You just have to not quit. Pay attention, get excited, never quit. Quitters never win, winners never quit. This company is destined to do really big things. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. Now, of course, none of us have a crystal ball. No one knows. But I think what's been going on lately with Doug Anderson and his company getting involved and working along with us, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they're either at the island again or they just got back from being in Cyprus again. So everything is moving forward, guys. It's just what an incredible time and place to be a part of this company. Just follow those rules, not only in Bellator, in your marriage, in your workouts, in everything you're trying to do. Pay attention, get excited, never quit. 3 very, 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 very simple rules, but 3 rules that make all the difference in the world. Now, next Monday, we're going to be back here again. You need to get your people on these. As soon as we open up seating for those momentums, fill them with your people. They will sell out. The last ones almost sold out, but again, remember, no one knew what to expect. They didn't know what a momentum was. Now everyone knows they're gonna sell out. So you want to get as many of your people in. And also, God forbid that when we get to where Journey sells out, you and your team are on the outside looking in. I'm telling you, the trainings are the key, in my opinion. I'm sure you learned something tonight. I know every time I was around my mentor, the top incomers in the company, I learned something. My goal is to, again, be here for you. Pay attention. You got to pay attention to someone who knows what's going on. I definitely know what's going on, and I'm so glad you spend these Mondays with me. It's an honor. It's a pleasure, and I'll look forward to seeing you again next Monday. Have a great, great, great evening, and go make some sales.